very good morning. In case you're just joining us, thank you so much for staying on KBC Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya on Thursday, the day when we get to take a light note on this particular program and celebrate talent, celebrate art as we prepare you to usher your weekend in style. And today morning, we want to celebrate beauty, and not just beauty, but beauty with brains, beauty with a purpose, beauty that is seeking to shape this particular world, to bring in initiatives that are going to solve the problems that we're experiencing in this particular generation. So right now, this morning, I'm joined by an amazing, amazing panel of two. And when I say amazing, you will find out in just a bit. I have a panel of two, a gentleman and a beautiful lady, a beautiful, tall lady who is joining me this morning. I'm talking about Tony Chira, who is actually an image consultant. He's a talent manager. He has done a lot in terms of fashion, has a background in theater. This man, we were sharing with him earlier, and I was telling him, you just do everything and you leave nothing for us to do.
It's enough for everybody.
You just do everything and everything. But right now, he's actually doing a lot in terms of instructing models and just doing a lot in terms of just bringing up talent and celebrating that. He's also a photographer, by the way. You'll see amazing pictures that he has been able to do online. Thank you so much for creating time to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and he's in the company of an amazing, beautiful lady, giving me competition in terms of height. I always thought I'm the tallest in this building, but today you've proved me wrong.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. Miss World South Sudan 2017. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Look so amazing with that. I envy you right now. And my first question probably will be, how do you feel, having that on you? What does it mean for you? Many of us would think it's just a crown. What does it mean to you, Arual?
Well, thank you so much. Having this crown means so much to me because it's not just about wearing it. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. Yeah, so having the crown makes me feel so good, and it's a responsibility too to have the crown. As I'm not just a royal, I'm the ambassador of my country, my beloved country, which is South Sudan, the youngest nation in the world, of course. So I'm so glad that I have the crown, and with the responsibilities, I'm happy as well to carry them out. Yeah.
And Longar, you'll share with us, because with this particular crown, it's actually a platform for you to do great, amazing things, to speak, for the voiceless in your country, and a lot of campaigns that you're planning to be doing going forward, which you'll share with us as we continue. But then, Tony, just a brief description of what being a model and being part of what, Arual is all about. What does it mean, really? Is it just looking beautiful, looking petite?
Thank you.
For people to understand, because there are a lot of young girls, who are aspiring to be where she is today. As a talent manager, what would you tell them? What do they need to understand?
Okay. First, I'll say a talent is that gift someone has naturally to do difficult things easily. For instance, being born beautiful, you look good easily without working too hard, so it's a gift. Being able to run long distances without, breaking down is a talent. So modeling is an exposition of a talent. And being a beauty queen is in one of the streams through which talent is taken out there. And the most important part of being a beauty queen is that you represent a cause, a concept, or a product. So models are people who basically are contracted for purposes of advertising, where they advertise a concept, a product, or a concept. So basically, Arual stands for a cause, which is beauty with a purpose, which is the motto for Miss World Pageant. And coming from South Sudan, then she espouses the dreams of the people of South Sudan in terms of awareness on areas that need attention of the world. So that's why she carries that responsibility. So it's not just about being beautiful. Being beautiful is one of the attributes that contributes to you being identified as the right person then to carry that role.
So it's not just about beauty.
It's not just about beauty.
It comes with a lot of responsibilities, like Arual is sharing with us. Having that particular crown, she understands that there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot that she has to be doing going forward. But then when did this start for you?
Well,
how did you get into what you're doing right now?
Well, it started when I was young. I've always had this passion for becoming a supermodel one day. My mom, little sister, used to model, so I looked up to her. I used to say, I'll be like her one day, you know. So it all started in 2012. Actually, no, not 2012, 2009 in Eldoret, sorry. I went for it, and while doing it, it was just a community thing. But I wasn't so into it because it wasn't taking me anywhere, because I used to model during the occasions. I did it like thrice. And then I went back to South Sudan in 2012. Then I decided to join Miss Malaika. But unfortunately, I did not make it. But I told myself it's something I want, and I have to do it. And also, you know, I had to go to school by that time and this thing, so I said, no, let me go to school, and then when I'm done, I'll come back for it. So I went back to South Sudan, and finally, this year in July, I saw an advertisement on Facebook. So I went and I registered. We trained for almost 3 weeks. And then that great night came when I was crowned and I became who I am today. So it feels so amazing.
I like how you, she said it with so much passion, like she remembers that particular moment, that great night.
That great
What
night.
happened that great night? Especially the part when your name was called out. What was going through your mind?
Well, at first we all went. We did our introduction, and then we came back, we went again. And then finally, it was now time for final, like 5.
It was at Freedom Hall in Juba.
Yeah, at Freedom Hall.
How many were you?
We were 14.
14?
Yeah, 14 beautiful girls. The competition was really high. I felt like, oh God, will I really make it? I felt to some point I wasn't confident, I wasn't sure. So the first top 5 were called out, and I was lucky to be there. And then we went backstage and we changed. We came back, and that was the time for questions now. So I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? And
You're still not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. And then I was asked, and all of us were able to answer nicely. The rest of the girls were so beautiful, and their answers were so perfect too. So I felt like, okay, the time is about to be here. And then they announced their, number 4, and it came and all that. And then there were 2 of us. This little girl is my best friend. We met there, and I just fell in love with her. So we were just there holding our hands. Because the moment was just there now. So
the 2 of you were left now.
Yeah. So at first, Tony was the MC, so he confused the audience and myself, because he said, now the winner of 2017, Miss World 2017 is, and then she announced number 2. And then I was like, okay, because, I love her. And I said, okay, whatever the outcome is, I was just prepared for it. Because I said, okay, I lost once, but I know it could be my time. If I don't get it, then that means
but
God doesn't want me to be there.
Anyway,
so it's okay, like, there were 2 of us. So, and then she went, I was happy for her. And Kumbe, that was in the final. And then I saw the crown, the big crown was with, the director. And the other one, so I had some hope. I said, oh, I have it. And then I was announced finally. I couldn't believe it. Like,
what did you do? Did you cry?
I did. Oh my God, I broke down.
I broke down. That has to happen,
she
right?
literally broke down.
I felt like God has done it for me, Like my dream is just here right now. I felt really so, I don't know.
And there's still a long journey that you're going.
Yeah, I know now, right now I know, like, there's a lot of it ahead of me, because the competition is really going to be so high. But it only takes the confidence in you. If you're confident and, believe in what you're doing, you can always make it. So I'm going there, and I believe anything can happen.
Yeah, we'll talk about your plans to China as we continue with this conversation. But Tony, luckily and fortunately, you are the MC that day. And you've also worked a lot with her, and you say that the training, the 3 weeks, for her to get to where she is, it's not been very easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah. So share with us the experience.
First of all, let me say it's always been challenging to get the contest through in South Sudan. First, because as a young nation that is just attaining its self-independence, or that just attained its self-independence, there are challenges of infrastructure. Many institutions, companies have not come through to support in terms of sponsorship. And you know, under the circumstances, investment is not high, so there are not too many people who are willing to put in their money to courses. Some of them are still holding back and, you know, waiting to see how things work. So I actually was able to only spend a week with them, with a group of 14. And of course, we couldn't, like, for instance, train until late. Many of the contestants are also students, so the time that we were able to spend together was really, really limited per day. But then, you know, what stands out for me ever in as far as the whole of this South Sudan story in this pageant is concerned is the levels of determination. You know, the girls are really, really yearning and willing to learn. I did say it first in, I think 2013, that South Sudan has the capacity to actually colonize the fashion world during that pageant finals. And I think that statement has gone on, excuse me,
It's okay.
I think that statement has gone on to inspire very many of the young girls who realize that, you know, they've got this unique feature that is not shared by any other, you know, country in the world. And so they bring that aspiration that if so many of their other sisters have made it, why not them? So that made the work a little easy for me, because then when you're working with someone that is willing, when you're training someone that is yearning to get the knowledge, then it becomes easy. So we were able to turn over, you know, the skills within the time that we had. But then, you know, that we had to release them very early, because, you know, come late in the evening, you know, they have to be home early, because, you know, at some point one doesn't really feel safe. That is quite you know, a challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of security issues.
Yeah, still. Security issues. And whereas there's nothing really that is happening, the fear that anything could happen, you know, the parents, you know, being a little hesitant to have their daughters out there, you know, when it's
being
late
girls.
in the, being girls, you know, you want to just be sure that 7 o'clock dinner time, your babies are home.
It's only natural for every parent.
So we had that going. But then I appreciate the fact that, you know, the 2 weeks prior, there's a clinical officer, former model who used to work here. I mean, we used to train, I mean, to study in Kenya, called Arual, and another lady called Adep, who was also a former model, who were already preparing them ahead of time. So at least
before the last week.
Before the last week. So I got them, you know, somewhere, which made it easy. So
you spent like a week with them.
Yes.
What stood out for you about, you know, Arual and even the other, the 2, the first runners up
and herself?
Something interesting that you find as a talent
consultant.
manager.
Okay. First of all, it's the world has an expectation. When you talk about a tall, dark lady in Africa, the mind will very, very quickly drift towards South Sudan. So that stood out. And therefore, whereas I was not involved in the process of getting the winner, other than just you know, basic briefs in terms of what to expect, the judges that were constituted more or less around the same time, you know, about 2 days or a day before the pageant, found the same in the girls that made it to the top 5. The idea this time was to crown, you know, 5 ladies, because each of the 14 contestants represents a course. And that, I'll probably just mention it here, it's part of what we are developing for South Sudan, because I'm the pageant consultant for South Sudan since 2009. And you know, way back in 2005 when we began working with the South Sudanese models, the idea has been that a winner may not be able to reach everywhere. A winner requires people to work with. And contrary to what happens in other places, once the contest is over, everybody goes back to their businesses, and then you're left as the winner to run, you know, with the crown. Yeah. But you cannot address everything.
With
so
this
responsibility, and there's so much to be done, you know, in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of orphans, children with disabilities, you know, old people, everything. So my 1 week with them was to, you know, enhance their resolve to actually remember that after the pageant, it is not over. The work has just begun. Yeah. And she will represent all of them in Sanya, China, and come back to work with each of them to ensure that the cause that they believed in, you know, that in the event they were going to become Miss World, this is what they would do for South Sudan, becomes a reality. Wow. You know, so that we kept bringing it, you know, back and forth every other time. So the little, I would like to call it little, you know, display in terms of catwalk and poses and turns, that is just for entertainment and show purposes.
But that is not the it.
That is not the it. Is the purpose.
Yeah. It's good that you clarify that. And then even the 14 contestants actually are still part of this
project. Are still part of this project.
Every person had a dream.
Yes.
I wish we could borrow that. Our politicians could borrow from that.
I wish our politicians borrow.
Every person who is vying has a dream and a vision.
Yes.
So, yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let me come to the beauty queen. People want to know, who is she, where is she from, what does she love doing? You know, tell us more about yourself.
Well, I come from the youngest nation in the world.
Yeah.
And I love being me, you know. Like, what defines me is being honest and being Arual. And I love spending my time with children mostly, because I love them, you know. I feel like they're just these little angels. Yeah. So I love them so much, and I also I love spending time with family mostly, because I'm mostly busy. Even before I was crowned, I was so busy, because I have to go to work and I have to go to school. But the little time I always get, I spend it with family, because they're my everything. Yeah, and also I love socializing with people around me, friends, and I love making new friends as well, because, you know, without friends, the world is not it's not good. It's not a good place. So I love making friends. I love spending time with them as well. Family, yeah.
Okay. You've studied human resource?
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Like, from that to what you're doing now, how are you merging the two?
Well, I'm a first year student, and I'm supposed to be in the second semester now, but it got interrupted. Sorry.
You're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, doing what I'm doing, but
do you plan on pursuing that?
Yeah, I will, because, you know, education is the key to life, and I have to do it. And of course, without education, I wouldn't be here. So after finishing this, I have to go back to school and carry out my duties as well as a citizen of South Sudan and as Miss World South Sudan. Yeah, so
it's good. It's good I brought that out, because people think that it's just beauty.
No,
not brains.
You know,
you have to go to school. Yeah. You have to study. You have, like, I really learned from you.
It's a real business. I mean, people have to think of it broadly. It's not just about being beautiful. There's a history to it. Yeah. I mean, she is yet to tell you about her growing up in Kakuma refugee camp, you know, and coming through that to even go to school, join high school. She's studied in Uganda, you know, I mean, and all these movements are interruptions, you know, that could easily disorientate somebody, you know. Yeah. But
she's made it this far.
Yes, she has.
Yeah. Let's hear more about that. You know, there's a story I want you to bring out from who you are. That's why I asked you, Arual, how do you describe yourself? You know, there are so many girls who are living in a lot of injustice. You know, there's poverty going around. There's a lot. The other day, yesterday, it was, you know, the day of the girl in the world. You know, there's a lot that girl somewhere is facing right now. And they are looking up to people like you for hope. So describe yourself in a way that, you know, would inspire a young girl watching you right now.
Well, I'll tell you about me. You're about to get to know who Miss World South Sudan is.
Yes.
Actually, the second born in my family.
Yeah.
And we are 6 from my mom. We came to Kenya in 2002. I came with my mother, and my little siblings were left behind with my grandmother. And my mom was pregnant by that time. In 2003, she delivered my little sister, and she went back to get my granny and my little siblings. So life in Kakuma, we were refugees, you know, life was so difficult. And as the first girl, you know, I was always together with mom, you know, so we did everything together. Life wasn't so fair on us. It was really difficult because, you know, like my family are not educated, and that's kind of hard. My dad was in South Sudan. I was with my mom and my little siblings. So we did everything with mom together, you know. We did everything together. I remember mom used to go and sell some, you know, cook food and sell it. Yeah. And I would go with her and help her as well, because I felt like, you know, she's doing a lot. I was so little, but I had so much, you know, to do, to offer, to do for my family. When mom was away, I was always there looking after my little siblings and making sure that they eat. You know, though getting food was so hard. But I always believe in God, you know. That's what actually brought me this far. My mom and I, and we are always prayerful. And despite the fact that we went through all that, I've always had hope that one day I'll do something great in my family. I'll make changes, and I'll be who I want to be. Because, you know, me suffering back then did not define me, you know, because I know that in life we have to go through difficulties to be who we are. So to the young girls out there, I want to tell them that, you know, whatever situation they might be facing right now, it's not just the end of everything, you know. Things happen and they go. This is life, and nothing is permanent in life. We all go through difficulties, hardship, you know, setback. But at the end of the day, we reach to where we want to go to if we have belief and determination in us, you know. So I would love to tell them, just be determined, believe in yourself. You can do anything.
Your camera. You just tell them yourself.
Okay. To the young girls out there, believe in yourself. You can always make it, you know. I came from nowhere to somewhere. I am Miss World South Sudan today, but not because I did not believe in myself, though I was suffering back when I was little. Even I grew up in difficulties, but I've always had belief in me that one day I'll make it and I'll be known. And that's why I'm here today. You can also make it. Believe in yourself, have faith, and all will be well with you.
You know what? You are known already. You know, I believe that has inspired some hope in somebody watching you this morning, because they see you today and they're like, how do I get to where she is? And let's get to talk about that purpose that you have. You know, you're passionate about breast cancer. You're passionate about poverty in your country. You're passionate about the rights of the girls in your country. Tell us more about everything that you plan to do with this particular platform that you have. Because Tony has shared with us the catwalk and all that is just entertainment. But right about now, Longar, you're about to start a journey that we want to know. What is it that we should expect from you going forward?
Well, as you know, from my country, as the youngest nation in the world, a lot of people don't know about South Sudan. You know, even within Africa, and you say, I'm from South Sudan, someone will ask you, oh, where's that country from? You know, because, you know, it's the youngest nation because it's gained its independence in 2011 from Sudan, actually. And as the youngest nation, we are not just young, but we are determined, you know. We are determined to reach where other countries are, you know. Despite the problems in our country, we still believe, you know, and we're still making it. We believe that our dreams are so strong, you know, our plans to build our great nation are there, and we will make it no matter what, you know. So about the young girls in South Sudan, they're so determined. And I saw that during the contest, you know. I saw every girl with vision for our country, you know. They all had dreams. But the fact that, you know, we can not all be crowned, all of us cannot be winners, you know. That's why I was selected. But I believe that this is the platform for me, and I believe they have the dreams, and I'll make sure that I work with them together to achieve the dream, because these dreams are not just for themselves, but they are to build South Sudan, which is the youngest and yet the greatest to be, you know. So, and about diseases like breast cancer, there's hepatitis B, which is affecting people in South Sudan. And, you know, there are no equipment, you know, in the country since it's the young nation and it's still coming up. So, as the Crown, you know, I have the Crown as the platform for me to create an awareness in my country. So I'll make sure I create awareness about the diseases, these silent killers that are killing people slowly, but they are not sure. So that's the first thing I'll do, because, you know, it's so good to have good health in the country. You know, health matters a lot in every country in the world, you know. So I'll bring it to the attention of the people of South Sudan that there are these diseases, which is hepatitis B and breast cancer, which are killing people slowly and they're not aware. So I lost my auntie, you know, and that's when I became more alert about it. I woke up one day, you know, hepatitis B, and I was told your auntie died, and I was like, what killed her? Hepatitis. And that, you know, it rang an alarm. I said, what? Like, seriously? I was hoping that, you know, I need to do something about this, but I didn't know how. But God granted me this opportunity as the platform, you know. So I said, I will use it to make sure that I save the lives of those who are yet to get this disease, and to at least any possible way to prevent it. You know, breast cancer, hepatitis B, and any other disease that is coming up and my people are not aware of. I'll make sure I create an awareness in my country.
That's a good, you know, cause that you want to pursue, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you
and
so
you
much.
can do it, especially now that you have this particular platform, and when you will be crowned Miss World.
Inshallah.
Talking about that, in November in China.
November,
Tell us more about that, Tony.
The contest is going to be on 18th of November, but she leaves the country next week. Let me not say the country. She actually leaves this country, Kenya, on Saturday, because there's a send-off party for her in Juba, where all the other girls are going to come together. The communities, you know, the people of South Sudan are coming together to just, you know, send her with their blessings, which is a really, really humbling time. So she's going to be there
from home.
From home.
It's true.
Yeah, so she's going to be getting that Saturday, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, I haven't confirmed her flight schedule. She'll be leaving for Sanya, China. The world expects South Sudan. It must be remembered that since 2012, when we managed to get Miss World to accept a delegate from South Sudan, that same year, South Sudan scooped the top model award and also Miss Africa. The following year, again, scooped top model award. The next year, they had high in number 2 position, top model of the world. And so there's a trend, an upcoming trend for South Sudan. So there's an expectation out there, and the world has been waiting. It's only that, you know, due to the same challenges, Miss World South Sudan 2017 was organized very, very close to the finals. And that's why after the contest, I was charged with the responsibility to take her back with me to Kenya, where my you know, office is, to continue with post-contest training to prepare her for that.
On such a short time.
On such a short time.
You capitalize on what's left.
Because the 1 week we had wasn't enough to give her everything that she would have required and the rest of the girls. But at least for her case, because it's now more focused on her, we're able to look at what is it that she needs and address it therefore. So that's why we've been here for 2 weeks now.
Very quickly, because we are almost running out of time, what would you say is different from the local pageantries that we have and the international? What, as contestants, they should understand? Because I believe it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. What would you say?
First of all, the differentiation between modeling and a pageant is really, really important. Modeling is business, let's just put it that way. where you step up on the runway to showcase, to advertise accessories, fashion accessories, clothes, and what have you. The difference between pageantry and modeling, therefore, is the cause that you represent, because you're an ambassador. Everywhere you go, before you leave, you know, if you're using a matatu, before you leave and you've been sitting to somebody, somebody needs to know what you stand for, who are you, you know, because you're an ambassador. You need
like
somebody.
Right now, she's a brand representing
She
South
is a
Sudan
brand.
in the world.
In the world. And she doesn't just represent the interests of her country.
Yeah, okay.
She represents the interests of her country, the interests of Africa, and the interests of the world, because the challenges going on in South Sudan is just, that is just one. There is the same happening in Kenya, but probably people are not even thinking about it. It could be happening in Bolivia, you know, and maybe somebody is not thinking about it. But then someone has to stand up and, you know, be able to do it. The one thing that, you know, I would say is the challenge between South Sudan and Kenya, for example, is that the South Sudan's organizers understand the meaning of pageantry, in that they put in their all, including going to their own pockets, you know, other than just depend on the sponsors. Because, for instance, there hasn't been sponsorship for South Sudan.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah, the national director, Mrs. Nyanot von Absberg, has gone down to her pockets, and sometimes even getting from the children's kitty, you know, their food, to make sure that the pageant happens. That is because she understands the value of the pageant to her country.
Okay.
Right now, the campaign is to actually call out the world to remember South Sudan. You know, because we might be imagining that, you know, yeah, they got independence in 2011, they've been fine, then there was a little altercation somewhere in there between 2013, then, you know, everything seemed to have gone quiet, then people think everything is okay. Not everything is okay, just because Juba is running, because you know, other cities are running, doesn't mean that everything is okay.
There are issues.
There are issues, you know, and those issues don't just, you know, affect South Sudan. They affect Africa. They affect the world. And that's why she carries that.
There's a question you're going to be asked, and I want you to rehearse. Why should you be Miss World? This you're going to be asked. Why should we trust you to be the one representing the universe?
Well, because, you know, I am me, and I believe that I can do anything, you know, mostly helping the less fortunate in the world, you know, because there are so many people who are less fortunate and they need help from us. And to be Miss World, inshallah, you know, I'll have to look into that, because they need help from all of us, you know, and they have to be helped. And if I'm to be given that opportunity, you know, I'll make sure I use my crown as the platform to help the people from across the world, because they need help. Yeah.
Is that good enough, Tony?
I wouldn't say. If I was scoring, I would give her maybe 60 or 58.
58?
Yes.
But we still have time.
We have time,
right?
we have time, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Because essentially, since they are causes and they are identifiable, and their solutions and they are identifiable, and it all begins from, you know, bringing it up to the fore, then finding the right people. It's a project that she must understand very, very clearly, and therefore prepare for it. So as part of the training, she's had 2 sessions with someone on project management, and you know, she still has 2 sessions to take, and probably that's why it's still not very, very clear how she's going to execute that particular role.
But then we still have some time.
We
And we wish you all the best. Thank you. And I'm a Kenyan. Allow me also to wish all the best Magdalene Jeruto, Miss World Kenya 2017, because I believe she's also be part of that particular team.
Yes.
We wish you all the best.
Thank
and
you
we
so
wish
much.
you all the best once again. We've come to the end of our program. Thank you so much for coming and for
appreciate
allowing us to know more about this beauty queen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Now, we've come to the end of the program. Just, you know, just a catwalk for us. I mean, you can't go. You can't leave us like that. Thank you so much for watching GMK. So far, so good. And we'll see you next week, Monday, bright and early, right here with Martin Mwanje and Samuel Njoroge. On behalf of the entire production team, have a lovely weekend. But remember to keep watching KBC Channel 1 all through the day. We will be updating you on what's happening in the country, as well as tomorrow, the Kudzacha team will be here. But from us, it's a wrap. And I'm joining the team. I'm tall. I have everything. So
welcome.
Why not?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Just a catwalk for us.